From the shores of Malibu, where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China, back to the streets of Las Vegas, where the UFC is happening. Happy New Year! We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show we will continue to talk about what you think about, but maybe you're afraid to voice. Don't worry, we'll voice it for you. It's No Holds Barred Radio, folks. UFC, film, TV, politics, sex, drugs, rock and roll, you name it, we talk about it. And I'm here with my co-host, TJ DeSantis. We're going into year 15, 16.
Oh man, I haven't done the math in a minute. I think it's something like 15. Yeah.
I think it's like 15 and great. It's just another year. Let's get it done. Started off right. And we thought we started off. We definitely need a beauty to be with these two beasts. So we bring on the wonderful Pearl Gonzalez. Hi, Pearl. How are you?
Hello. Good morning, Bruce. Good morning, TJ. I'm so happy to join you guys.
I mean, we're happy. Let me just say I'm happy because I made a mistake and didn't book a guest and did something that you're saving my ass, Pearl. That's what I'm saying. I owe you one. All right.
Yeah. He was on the chopping block. He was on the chopping block, Pearl. I was going to drop the hammer on him, but then he said, no, I got Pearl Gonzalez. It's great. I'll hang with you for another year. It's all good. It's all good. So,
all right.
Happy to have you on. Let's get a few sponsorships out of the way. It's Time Radio is sponsored by FanDuel, the most successful happening sportsbook in America. Check out FanDuel at FanDuel.com. Of course, Puncher's Chance, the bourbon for everybody that truly believes they have a puncher's chance in life. I live by this code. Have a drink, enjoy it. And we just came out with a 12-year version. I'd have to run downstairs to get the bottle, but I got to tell you something, TJ. And
yeah.
Pearl, the 12-year, that sells for 30. The 12-year sells for 120 plus.
Dang.
When I say nectar of the bourbon gods, sweet nectar of the bourbon gods, it's unbelievably
delicious. I like it. I like that. That's good to hear.
And is it out? Where can I pick this up? I need a bottle of this 12-year.
Where are you at, Pearl?
I'm in San Diego currently, but I'm everywhere. I'm a gypsy.
Yep. Pearl lives everywhere, literally, and not like stays there, like lives there, Bruce. I tell the story all the time. We were in the middle of nowhere, Mexico, in Sinaloa, and Pearl goes to the grocery store and buys like $200 worth of groceries because she has like a slow cooker in her room, but she doesn't have a refrigerator. So she buys $200 worth of groceries and then does a hotel barbecue with like short ribs, and it's just insane.
That's awesome. But speaking of barbershops and everything else, Bevmo, Albertsons, pretty much all your big markets are right there. You can find them.
Okay, perfect.
And you can have it brought to you, Pearl. I know you like people to bring you things, so you don't have to go out and do things because you got things to do. Drizzly's a service that also stocks it.
Yeah, Drizzly's. You can go right to Drizzly's online or sipwhiskey.com, and they'll deliver right there, right to your house, which is probably the easiest.
Wow. I actually went into Chicago and I was looking for it because my uncles, they're police officers, and I'm like, you guys got to try this. And so I kind of been, I buy my uncle bottles all the time just to keep his collection up. So I'm going to get him a bottle. I got to go to see him this weekend. I'm definitely going to grab a bottle this weekend, and I'll get you, give you he loves bourbon. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Maybe
it's phenomenal.
Send me a little video or whatever if you can. I'll post it up. Only if you like it. Only if you like it, which I have no doubt you will. We've won 6 gold medals, 3 for taste and 3 for design of the bottle. And what can I say? It's selling like hotcakes. So
hey, Pearl,
I got a story for you guys too about Puncher's Chance. Let me tell you.
Don't stop
now. Let me get out of the way.
Don't stop now. Let it fly. What's the story?
Okay, so you sent me a bottle, which I still have, right? And so it was my dad. My dad passed away a few years ago, and it was his birthday and his anniversary are very close together. And so it was last year. I just moved to Brooklyn. I don't have any friends in Brooklyn, so I'm a loner. So I was like, all right, I gotta have a drink for my dad's birthday. So I pour. Of course, I want Puncher's Chance. I love it. It's so delicious. The smell, it's smooth. I can drink it straight on the rocks. Neat. Like, I love this. So I had some, and then I was like, okay, I am a 2-drink girl and done. I'm 2 and done. I don't drink a lot. I can't. So I have my 2, and then my aunt calls me, my aunt and my uncle, in which I'm talking about, and now they're drinking and they're having this great party time. And so my uncle's like, come on, take a shot with me for Anthony. That's my father. And so I was like, all right. So I end up like having, I guess, like 3 more shots. And then I don't know what happened. I woke up, I was naked as fuck in my bed, and I was like, oh my God, where's everything? No, I'm not done. There's puke in the bathtub everywhere. I was like, what did I do? I have no idea, but I was like, I had to go to training the next morning. I couldn't tell anybody. What am I going to say? I got super trash last night. They're going to think I'm an alcoholic. So I had to play it off. Didn't tell anyone and spar Amanda Serrano the next day. It was terrible.
See, like just wait to tell the story on a podcast, you know?
Yeah, so you blanked out from like 4 or 5 shots of punchers?
I think it was like 6. I really think it was like 6.
Okay.
He was like, have another one. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, when you're used to
Okay. It was like having this great time.
Bruce, allow me to tell you that Pearl will have a drink on Extra Rounds, the show that we do on UFC Fight Pass. And if she has, one full drink, especially if she maybe made it a little bit too strong, the second half hour of the show, it's, touch and go.
Should have given her a few before this show, but I don't think we needed to because the stories are rolling. So
yeah.
Hey, Pearl, thanks for all that, Pearl. You did wake up alone, right?
Yes, I woke up alone, but let me tell you, there was a trail from the bathroom, like my pants, my bra, like there was a trail to the bed. So I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, clearly I threw up and was not happy with having my clothes on and took off my clothes as I tried to get to my bed and then fell asleep somehow.
I don't know if this is a great promo for punchers or the coolest promo ever. Try to figure it out. So Pearl, being the extreme fun person that you are, you mentioned something before. You're going to Chicago to get your hair done. You live in San Diego.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Well, I actually my apartment is in Brooklyn.
You can't narrow it down, Bruce. She lives everywhere she's at in that moment. That's where Pearl lives. Okay.
I resemble that remark. So go ahead.
So, my family's in Chicago and my hairstylist is in Chicago and she has been doing an incredible job. So every 6 weeks I fly to Chicago to get my hair done by her because I love her so much. And I get some family time in. So I kill 2 birds with one, and it doesn't keep me too far away from home. 1 year I didn't go home at all for a year and I never want to do that again. So it's just a perfect excuse to go home every 6 weeks and get my hair did. Because let me tell you, this has to look good. It's got to look good, guys.
Look at all this. Look at this. I gotta get on the plane. I gotta fly. All right,
real quick. I'd be willing to drive to Mars if that was even possible to get a good haircut. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Can't you go to like Instable or something like that, TJ?
I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So let's get a mop top going. I need it.
All right. Well, let's get going with one key thing here, folks. Kristen's not here today. Why do you think she's not here today, TJ?
I don't know.
Family got hit by
COVID. Too much punchers.
Of course.
No. Too much. No, the Henry, my boy, came down with the COVID variant yesterday, and
did he get it from returning to school? Is he in person schooling?
He returned to school on Monday, but he tested positive on Tuesday, which is not
That's
proper
too
time
quick,
limit.
right? Yeah.
But he was all home last week. He went in to get his wisdom teeth pulled at the dentist office on Friday. That's the only time he was around other people.
The problem, though, Bruce, is as we're learning, it's not necessarily being around other people. It could come in on a package. It could come into your house so many different ways. And again, I'm not trying to get all political and talk about vaccines. That's none of my business really with our listeners. But the bottom line is like it does feel like you can only do so much, and you're at the whim of whether or not this thing's going to hit you. And it seems to be person to person, case to case on who's impacted by it.
Well, right now, I don't know about you guys, but here, my sphere of influence, everybody's getting hit.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Yep.
And now in Europe, they're predicting half of Western Europe could soon be infected with COVID-19. It's spreading like wildfire over there. There were 7 million new cases in the first week of January, and it just doubled in the last 2 weeks.
When do we get an upgrade on the number? Because this is the 2019 version, but there's new variants. So isn't it COVID 21 at this point, or 22?
I don't know. To me, COVID is COVID. Let's just be happy with the fact that if you're vaccinated, because the unvaxxed people are winding up in the hospital with a tremendous amount of children getting this new variant, which I'm sorry to say because I worry about the after effects, not just in kids, but in adults. But the CDC predicts that there'll be 62,000 more COVID deaths in the next month here in the United States.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So the fact that it affects you less, but then I talk to some people and it affects them more.
Yeah.
So it's a variant in respect of the fact that it's a variant of COVID. It's a variant in respect of the fact of how each of us are affected by it.
Right. Which we're all different.
We're all different. So all I can tell everybody is to be safe. All I'm hearing from everybody, including my cleaning lady who came here today, is that everybody around them is getting this damn COVID. So just be safe. I got to tell you right now, I was in Vegas last week for the Raider game,
Mm-hmm.
which was amazing. What an amazing game that was. It was incredible. And so I set off the Raider game, and then I've got the UFC this weekend. Then we got the big show in Anaheim, Jan 22nd. And I'm not saying cancel the show or anything, but with everything going on here in California, I feel like the Honda Center in Anaheim is going to just be a COVID haven.
I mean, I don't know, Bruce. Like, I hate to say this, but at what point do we just have to go, yeah, people are going to get it. People are going to have to deal with it.
I think at this point, it's a matter of not, are you going to get it? It's when are you going to get it?
Right. And that's the thing, you know, unfortunately for me is, you know, I have to worry about bringing it back to my family, which unfortunately I did. I got them COVID for Christmas. My wife, you know, had a bad couple of days. My son got over it in like 5 hours. You know what I mean? My son, he's not legal to drink, but he could have just had 6 shots of puncher's chance like Pearl and wouldn't even remember COVID. But it does seem like other people, though, are impacted. And I was for 3 straight days, Bruce. Like, I would have needed a bottle and a half of punchers to get through my COVID.
Yeah. Well, like I said, to me, it was it's time energy by day to give me energy, and
right. Yeah.
Night to let me relax.
And that's the thing, too. The hardest part, I think, for me is not only just getting through feeling like crap, but I mean, how did you deal with it, Pearl? Because you're a busier body than I am. I mean, you're going to across the country to get your hair done. Like, I think the hardest thing for me was to get over it and then not go out because you have to quarantine.
So I got it back in 2020.
You got version 1.
It was horrible. And I got it in Chicago. And I swear the Chicago version at that time was like on steroids. It was horrible. I was 3 weeks out of a title fight and I was in the best shape of my life. I'm very big in my nutrition and my supplementation, and constantly, especially when I'm in a camp, I'm constantly making sure that I'm keeping my immunity boosted. And I'm really working to help my immune system because I'm cutting weight and training so much. And I got that. And it took me out for 2 weeks. I couldn't breathe right for 5-6 weeks. I mean, it was pretty intense. And for as healthy as I was, I think that, you know, I kind of like overheard some things like what Joe Rogan and Dana White with the IV. And I thought that was pretty like incredible. Like, why didn't I think of something like that? The IV, where it goes instantly through your system. So I think like you guys said, like, this is here. It's here. You're probably going to get it. When are you going to get it? All you can really do is prepare your body, your immune system, and, you know, and yourself for this. And that is by making sure, you know, you're eating as good as you possibly can and just taking care of yourself so that if you do get hit with it, you know, you can help your immune system.
You know, I saw this. I need to probably look into, reading the article before I go on a podcast and say that it's fact. But I saw ESPN had an article up that said the NCAA was going to consider athletes that had COVID fully vaccinated because they dealt with the virus. And it's like
their immunity is high.
Yeah. And I understand that. But again, it's just it's crazy. And I don't know how long, I mean, with these variants, Bruce, I don't know how long you really buy time before the next variant could come along and you're not immune to that one.
Look how many variants came out in the last year.
Yeah. I mean, what letter is Omicron? Is that O? And they go by the Greek letters. So we're already up to,
I don't know. There's already another one they're talking that's being developed. You know, listen, the bottom line is, without really super analyzing it, this is where we're at, and it's not going to change for a while.
No, I mean, Dr. Davidson was on the air almost 2 years ago at this point, Bruce, saying like, get ready for your new normal, ladies and gentlemen. And it's been that
5-year trek.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get on some positive things here, but, you know, with the COVID situation, again, just everybody stay safe as best you can. And that's all I can say. We had a few passings over the last couple of weeks that are definitely worth talking about. One of the finest actors ever in the history of Hollywood, Sidney Poirier, who was one of my favorite actors growing up. He passed away at the age of 94. My sincere wishes and condolences go out to his family. The oldest USS World War II veteran passed away, 112.
Wow.
112. That's
Dang.
Pretty amazing. Yep. Pretty amazing. So best to him. Thank him for his service. His name was Lawrence Brooks. Looking at these pictures of him as a soldier and him as an older man, you know, I have so much respect for the World War II generation, as I have respect for everybody, unless you prove to be an asshole. So
it's a good outlook. Good outlook.
Pretty much the case. But thank you for your service, sir. And a comedian who I knew and a lot of people respected, and of course, you know, we all know him from the TV show, but Bob Saget.
That one got me by surprise, Bruce. That one hit me in the gut a little bit.
Yeah, well, they found him the good thing is, if there is a good thing here, is that he passed away, they claim, in his sleep.
Right.
And it could have been potentially from a heart attack or a stroke. And he passed away peacefully in his sleep. They found him with his left arm across his chest and right arm lying beside him. So the hand on the chest is what they figured could have pointed to the fact that it was a heart attack. And he recently battled COVID-19. And when he had COVID-19, he had developed blood clots and was reporting complications from the virus. So again, who knows
Right.
if this could be an after. This is what worries me
Right.
about getting this. Okay. This and many, many other things. So we don't know. Guinea pigs.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all guinea pigs.
I mean, I'm over COVID. I'm, negative and all that stuff. And I have some immunity and, I'm looking at like my day-to-day life and I've got some fatigue, Bruce. I'm not going to lie. Like I feel a lot more tired than I used to be, but I also don't know if I just am just getting more lazy. It's one of those two things. I'm like, I might be lazy. Pearl can attest to that. I'm lazy.
It's the same.
No, I was going to ask if you had donuts today. What'd you have for breakfast?
What did you know what? I had a banana, Pearl. I still got 2 left over. So I've been eating a little healthier to start the new year.
Okay.
Pearl yells at me all the time.
I just want to see the bags of chips and the shitty energy drinks.
No. Well, okay. Well, I got energy drinks. That's true. I got my Monsters, but I had a banana. That should at least give me 1 or 2 energy drinks.
I am going to wean you off Monster. Okay. Because
get a lime flavored. I need lime. Cool. It's time.
Monster is, I'll respect the Monster UFC.
Yeah, the UFC sponsor. Yeah, Bruce.
Hey, like Brock Lesnar said, they ain't paying me any money. Okay,
right there you go. I got
that's
that.
Right.
I respect that.
Bottom line is, you want health and energy, you drink this.
We'll ship it over. I'll drink it by the caseload. I promise.
Coming February. Coming. Lots happening. While we're talking on physical wellness and everything, Jenna Jameson, Tito Ortiz's ex-wife, the porno star Jenna Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's unable to even walk right now. She has Guillain-Barré syndrome. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Yeah. I've definitely heard of that. I can't remember what it is though.
Well, she's going in her testing and everything else. The muscles in her legs are weak. She wasn't even able to walk to the bathroom. She had to have somebody carry her. So I don't know how long that lasts. I mean, I hope she gets through it okay. I don't wish that on anybody. But man, I'll tell you, stay healthy, folks. Eat right, nutrition, whatever it takes. Not that that's going to stop something like this, but I've never even heard of this. I mean, I have heard of it. Excuse me. I'm just not familiar with how it works.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, obviously, want to wish her the best in recovering, and that's a bummer. It's never fun. I mean, to be unable to be mobile, to be immobile because of something is a pretty scary thing.
Yep.
Yes.
A couple of liquor stories here while we're talking Puncher's Chance.
Yeah. Speaking of being immobile.
Yeah, The Rock's Tremania tequila, which I think is really good. He's sold 600,000 cases, right? Has moved. Now, from what I understand, like Ryan Reynolds, or let's put it this way, Conor McGregor, we all know Proper 12. They sold about a little over 200,000 cases. Company sold for 600 million. So right now, this places The Rock's value at his company over $1 billion, which is very cool. Now, Mark Wahlberg, now he wants to make his number one. He's going to start competing against, The Rock's tequila and Clooney's, tequila, Casamigos. But even though they sold that for $1 billion almost or whatever, but he's coming out with his own line of tequila called Flecha Azul, Azul being what it's made from. And it's a pretty nice looking bottle. I wish Mark all the luck. He's another one that's got a Midas touch when it comes to what he does. I will tell you that the tequila market, in my opinion, is a little saturated.
Well, but not only that though, Bruce, but like I feel like tequila is very much a Mexican liquor, right? Like,
I mean, if you look at it,
right, but you got to have like I think some culture there to be the face of a tequila brand. I'm not saying anything negative towards Mark Wahlberg, but like I look at The Rock and I think Miami, he's a Miami guy, and that sort of makes sense. But Boston in tequila doesn't really jump off the page for me.
Well, then you won't buy it. But then there's a lot of people. There's a lot of Mark Wahlberg fans out there.
I'm making energy drink, and I might buy it, Mark.
Hey, I wish him luck. I don't look at competition when I think of the Proper 12s and this, that, and the other, and I look at Puncher's Chance. Again, I come from the school that competition breeds success, and success breeds competition. There's room for everybody.
But again, Conor McGregor, Proper 12, Irish whiskey. That makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Mark Wahlberg and tequila doesn't make sense. Pearl Gonzalez and tequila makes sense.
Pearl Gonzalez makes sense, period. So it's all good.
She reminds me of that all the
all of
time.
it.
She's like, I make sense, TJ. Don't question me.
So
Hey, Pearl.
I did alcohol promotions for 12 years in my earlier days, and I love tasting. I'll taste all of them because I love just tasting, smelling, and finding the notes and the textures in the alcohol.
We've
So
witnessed
I'll
this
taste
at
them all.
the UFC headquarters. Pearl was getting frisky with Howlerhead.
Yeah, well, that'll make you frisky. I actually enjoyed Howlerhead when I tasted it. It's not the kind I drink every day. It's a little too sweet for me because of banana infused. I think it's more of a liqueur.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. The bottles are beautiful. Dana's behind it. And I think as far as the product it is, I think it's an excellent product.
Pearl had like 9 drinks that she made. And by
drinks, she just went
she was tasting them, not drinking all of them, but she had 9 like separate drinks that she had made, like different combinations. And I think by drink 4 or 5, everything just tasted fine.
Hey, Pearl, let me sway a little bit here. One thing at the end of the year I find is to end the year strong, to start the year strong. Don't start the year with anything going on in business and personal life that's negative and toxic. Try to start off with a clean slate.
I love that.
Did you start the year off with a boyfriend?
Oh, no, I haven't been on a date in 2 years now.
Well, wait, slow down the train, hold the horses.
All right, now we're going off the rails.
Provocative picture publishing social media. Pearl Gonzalez has not been on a date in 2 years. What the heck is up with that?
Yeah, I haven't had any kind of physical with a man, anything in 2 years. I was in a long relationship. I was married for 10 years and he broke my heart 2 years ago. And I refused to date or even consider a relationship with someone else until I'm healed, in which I am. I'm at a good place now in my life. But I've taken the last couple of years and I've also decided that 2022 is another one of these years where I just want to focus on my goals. I want to focus on, I'm in a new place now. I have a whole new life ahead of me than what has been planned for the last decade. So I'm just setting myself up. That's most important is security in my life. I think that's what I miss most from that relationship is the security in it. So I'm really focused right now on setting my life up and helping set my family up. I mean, that's my life's purpose is to help change the generational wealth and of my family, but also create some opportunities for these kids in my family. And so that's what I'm focused on. That is my mission right now is just to set myself up and get where I need to be. I think though 2022, I might go on a date. I mean, damn, I need some kind of love it here. I mean, I do it myself. I play with my own hair. I take myself on dates. I do. I really do. I get dressed up, just like I would for a date. And I go out and to a fancy restaurant by myself. It's kind of what I've done.
Let me comment on a few different comments. First off, going out by yourself and everything and looking good can totally relate. I do the same thing. Okay. Need to get out, whether I'm with somebody or not. And you got to be happy within yourself before you can be happy with somebody else. Second thing, I'm jealous as hell of that first guy that gets to knock on your door that you accept. Wow. Is he in store for a fun night or what? Or a fun,
Oh my God. He's in store for a fun week. It's going to be a week. I'm locking in.
You better send him an IV bag of vitamin B, baby. That's all I can tell you. And God knows what else. Blue Chews. We'll send him some free Blue Chews.
There
Not
you go.
that he's going to need it.
I love it.
Good for you. So what you're saying is there's nothing more exciting than the impending event. I got it.
Yes. That and I think that the just the journey these last 2 years of really like learning myself and learning what I like, and it's been a journey. It's been interesting, and even on the nights where I was like lonely and sad, and I had to pick myself up out of those. I had to find a way to deal, and I think that the one book I read, The Obstacle is the Way. Like there's no better way to get through some shit than going right through that obstacle. And so it's kind of what I've been doing. It's just that, and I'm just so busy with work right now that I really don't have time to date.
Thank God you have the work because it takes your mind off the other thing, which I can totally relate to. At the same time, they say for every 2 days you're together, for every 2 days you're together, it takes 1 day to get over. So like if you're talking a 10-year relationship, you probably have this going on in your head for a while, especially since you were married. Are you guys communicating?
No, we haven't communicated since. He's actually, divorce is not over. It's taken forever. So I'm really, hoping for that soon, but he's ready to get married. He was in a relationship before we ended ours. So
Cool.
It's cool. Exactly. Good for him. He's on his own path and I'm on mine. And man, let me tell you, since that relationship ended, like my life has like blossomed into something completely different than what I thought it would be.
And you got rid of the toxicity in your life and you put it on a clean path. And that's the name of the game. When you're starting off the new year, get rid of everything toxic. You know, if it's not happening, it's not going the right way, whatever the case might be, you got to think about yourself and what's best for you. And that's the way I am, but I'm still kind to everybody around me. I try to handle as best I can, but the bottom line is we're survivors in this mean world in which we live, and it's survival of the fittest. So
yes.
So good for you. Stay fit, survive, and go for that success. I think your attitude about that and your goals are fantastic. Smart.
Thank you.
But go out and enjoy yourself, okay?
I know. So what I did do this year, I ended my year. I had surgery 2 days before Christmas. I tore my MCL for the 4th time back in February. And the last time I tore it tore completely off the bone. So I couldn't grapple or kick anymore, which is why I opted to go to bare knuckle boxing, because I was not ready to have surgery. I wanted to fight and all I could do was box. And so I had my surgery. I'm in week 3 of surgery. I'm walking. I can get on the elliptical. I can ride the bike. I mean, I'm just, and I've been working out twice a day everywhere else. I have 3 other limbs that I've been working on. So it's been an interesting journey now physically to, get my body back up to par, to get back on my feet. I just started walking regularly like yesterday or the day before. And also now that my life has slowed down a little bit physically, it's like, where else? And I've been working in other areas and working on other goals and working on my year. So I think that for me, like when things happen, like you said, one, I never want to be bitter in life. Whatever I go through, I that's one of my big things is never be bitter. It's part of life. This is part of life, right? But when something happens or a challenge gets in my way, okay, well, this is here. Maybe I can't use my leg. I can't do these things. I can't train in the things that I love, but I still have a brain. I still have 3 other limbs. How can I enhance myself in another way? And that's just kind of been my thought process for the last 10 years. And that's kind of where I'm at.
I think that's a little bit of breaking news too, Bruce, because Pearl, I don't think you've really told anybody why you went into bare knuckle boxing, and the fact that you did so on a torn, meniscus is pretty crazy and insane in itself.
Crazy. Yeah, just walking down the street with a torn meniscus is crazy enough.
And Pearl's crazy enough.
Yeah.
It was fun. I had a blast.
How'd you like taking shots with the bare knuckle versus the glove? And considering our gloves in MMA are only 4 or 5 ounces anyway.
It's interesting. It's very different in punching. You actually have to punch different because, when if you hit with just a piece of your knuckle, it hurts so bad. So you really have to learn how to hit. If you hit the forehead, I mean, the first fight I had, my hands swelled up like tennis balls. They're huge for like 3 weeks. And then the bruising went from my knuckles all the way down to my elbows. It was insane because I kept hitting her in the hard parts of her skull. So you really have to pick your shots. It was fun. It's exciting. It's dangerous because my last fight I had, it was so much fun, but it was a back and forth. It was a brawl. We were just in the pocket swinging. And I remember the first thing I asked the cut man as soon as the fight was over was, how many cuts do I have? Because I thought I had maybe 4 or 5 cuts. And he was like, you have none. And I was surprised. So it's interesting because it's so dangerous. It's exciting. You don't know if you're cut. You don't have to hit hard to get cut. It was exciting. I miss grappling. I miss grappling a lot though. I miss MMA.
And what about taking the shot? You've been slammed with boxing gloves and MMA gloves. Now you get hit with bare knuckles. What was the worst one to take? Of course, it depends on your opinion, but what was the worst to take?
There was one that I took right here on my orbital bone. And as soon as I took that, immediately my eye shut. And so I think like some of those, there was just a couple, she sucked, but she didn't have very good accuracy. So she didn't really land big shots on me.
Be happy about that.
Yeah. So, but you do feel it, you do. And you're just not sure when you get hit, like, did that cut me open? Cause it's like a sting, which is a little different than with your gloves. Some sting with gloves, if they hit you on that bone or just right. And then some you're like, oh, I can take that. You feel the pad. So it's definitely very different.
Every time I've ever been cut in a fight, I've taken 16 stitches around my left eye and over here and stuff like that. Honestly, every time I've been cut, I never knew I was cut, until the blood is coming down or my opponent's like, no. One was even in a street fight and the cut was so bad that the guy actually went like this when he cut me. which gave me the perfect opening to just take him out. It was
Oh
like,
my
it
gosh.
was funny, but I had, I think it's kind of like getting knocked out. You don't really feel it until you know it's happened.
Yeah.
Depending. We've seen
it-
the big gashes. It depends.
It's interesting, Rich. You mentioned, being cut, sort of opening a window and a door for you. There are plenty of sort of examples in mixed martial arts where an opponent has cut or a fighter has cut their opponent, and it's to their own detriment. Remember Kenny Florian on the bottom of Sean Shirk, and he was forced to,
God, the bloodiest
almost
fight
drink some of that
Probably
blood.
the bloodiest
Yeah.
fight I ever saw. It was crazy.
Yeah, and Kenny was the one that landed the cut on Sean, and it sort of unfortunately hurt his chances in winning that fight.
Yeah. No, it's crazy stuff. Well, I don't want to see anybody get cut. I just want to see people win, cash big paychecks, and go on to have successful careers. And we all know that gets interrupted by various situations. Let's talk UFC. UFC is having its first show this weekend, which I'll be at the Apex in Vegas announcing. Good solid fight card here. Calvin Kattar, Giga,
Chikadze.
I had it. Chikadze. I had it. Okay.
That's hard.
But that's, Kattar's a tough dude.
Oh, yeah.
And so is Giga. This is going to be really, they're not big names. And I mean that with all respect. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
Yep, they're heavy hitters.
They're heavy hitters. But this is a card that people are going to go, oh, it's no. And you know what? It's probably going to be on fire. Okay.
Oh, 100%.
It's going to be on fire. So Kattar, which I thought is kind of cool. This is his second year in a row opening the UFC for the year.
Oh,
He
wow.
did the same thing last year.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He fought again in Abu Dhabi against Holloway. That was his last fight. And it was so he, that's kind of cool for him. And the most exciting thing, so Chikadze is currently 7 or 8-0 right now in the UFC. I mean, he originally came in on a Dana White Contender Series. So he went on the show, lost. They didn't take him obviously because he lost the Dana White Contender Series. And then he went and got a couple wins, came back in 2019, fought 4 times in 2020, 2 in 2021, and here we are, just a year, less than 2 years short of 8-0. I mean, this guy is incredible. He is extremely talented and on the rise. Kattar's a monster though, man. His jab, his boxing, he's got this incredible boxing, but the best part of what I loved most about his style is the way that he strikes as he's backing up. He did not utilize it in the Holloway fight, but he looked great before, leading up to the Max Holloway fight.
Aside from everything you just said, this is an example of why you're so good at what you do. We're talking casually. I bring something up. You've got no cheat notes in front of you, and you just.
She didn't even know she can be on the show today, Bruce. Like 25 minutes ago, she had no idea she can do this.
No, that's very impressive to me. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job, Pearl. Good job.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this card. I'm just excited to have fights back, and I think that these two, you're right, they're not well known. They haven't really got that limelight yet. But if you look at Chikadze and you look at both of these gentlemen, I think Kattar is like 5-2 or 5-3 right now in the UFC. And Chikadze's been on this roll. They've had 8 fights in the UFC already, and they've worked their way up. So this is amazing that they get this spot and they get this limelight. If you don't know Chikadze by the end of the year, I think you will.
Yeah, well, the important thing is, not important, rather, one of the possibilities here is the first UFC of the year. Hopefully a lot of eyeballs will be on it. It's an early show. It's going to be competing against football playoffs, but that's their choice, what they chose. The co-main event is Muslim Zalikov against Michelle Pereira. And the next co-main is Jennifer Maia and Caitlin Chukagian. I mean, come on, tell me that's not going to be a brawl.
It's a great fight. Great fight.
It's a great fight.
It's a great big fight.
Yeah,
it's a big fight for this division. These are the top contenders. These girls are the top 5, and they've already fought. And Caitlin beat her. Caitlin's been number 2 for years. It's so insane. Like, she's just been there,
Just can't seem to get over that hump. Yeah, I know.
Oh, she's just in front of an assassin.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When the challenge is Valentina Shevchenko, like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, it was like Rich Franklin back in the day. It was Rich Franklin and unfortunately Anderson Silva in front of him. You know what I mean? It's incredibly difficult when you're, the number 1 contender, but the champion's a friggin' GOAT.
Exactly. Exactly. Heavyweight wise, we have Jake Collier and Chase Sherman. The Vanilla Gorilla is always fun to watch. That'll be interesting. And then, a lot of Dana White Contender Series fighters are coming on this show. I think when I was doing the cards last night, there's at least 6 people debuting now
Yeah.
on this fight, which is going to be very cool.
And one thing about those contender series prospects is, not only can you be certain that they're talented, but they're action, packed fighters. If you're going to come into the UFC on a contender series note, it's because not only did you go out there and probably get the win, but you went out there and impressed Dana. And, the only way to really do that is to make sure that you don't, sit back and let the fight come to you. You take the fight to your opponent. So anytime there's a contender series prospect on the card, it's must-see TV.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then you got Court McGee coming back, the guy's been fighting in the UFC forever.
Yeah.
And I don't quite know how to say his opponent's name except Ramiz Brahima. I'm not sure, but I got to learn his name. Gabriel Benitez and TJ Brown. I think that's going to be a hell of a fight. And that's on the undercard. So
yeah, solid afternoon, I guess, of action.
Solid afternoon of fights. It's going to be fun. I'll see you all from the Apex.
Great building, by the way. Pearl and I just worked that venue for the first time. It's the first non-UFC show inside the Apex.
Yeah, isn't it cool how intimate it is? I mean, with 150 or so people sitting in the nice seats and everything. And then in the back, they bring out all the Greek food and the buffet and the bar. And I got to tell you something. I think if you love a UFC, sure, the big arena shows are all fantastic, but there's something about this intimate show. It's like, my God, this is the greatest thing since 7-Up.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to tell me that, sir, you don't belong here. It's time to go. I was like, all right, I'm with Pearl. I was waiting for someone to come up and tell me I don't belong here. What are you doing here, sir? I'm with Pearl.
You belong
there.
I
found a spot in the back. And I was trying to do one of my videos for my fan time in the back where no one could see me because there's like a nice little area in the back you can have some privacy.
That's the area I'm talking about. Yeah. There's a couple areas, couple buffet areas. Put it this way: you don't have to go out to dinner after this show. You're full.
Wow.
It works really well. Okay, a little collectible talk. Tom Brady, the GOAT. What can we say? His rookie card now. They found one of his other rookie cards. It's a PSA 8.5. It's amazing. $2 million they expect this thing to sell for.
Damn.
Wow.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Pearl, do you have to go? You got somewhere to be?
I do. I have.
No, Pearl, you got to go. You got to go to do what you got to do. We're actually going to be cutting off the show here in a few minutes, so it's all good. But if you got to go, please do.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for having me on. Next time I'll look cuter. I promise.
Hey, listen,
I've been saying that since episode 1 for myself. So.
I want to hear how your dad likes Puncher's Chance, and I definitely want to have you on after you have your first date of 2022 or after your first week of dating in 2022.
All right. I'll make sure to keep you tuned in on that. Well, don't hold your breath, though, because the way this year's looking as busy as it is, I don't know when I'm going to fit it in.
Just notify TJ and we'll bring you on with Sammy Phillips on our sex and relationship show because we'll definitely have something to talk about, hopefully.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Bye, Pearl.
Bye, Pearl.
Have a good week. Great show. Both you guys have a great show this week, okay?
All right, honey. You take care. Go get that hair done in Chicago style.
Thank you.
You go to the Windy City to get your hair done so you walk out in the wind. I'm still trying to figure this out, okay?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay. Take care, Pearl.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. I meant that what I said, to her to rattle off those stats, not even knowing what we're going to talk about and just to be pulling it out of her brain path.
Well, to be fair, she's getting ready for extra rounds on Saturday night, immediately following the UFC
Either
card.
Way.
But yeah,
Either
no,
way.
I mean, even if she, it's Wednesday as we record this. So she doesn't need to do any of that research until Friday, to be honest with you. So for her to grab that, Bruce, I mean, she works hard.
She works hard. What's a couple things before we go? I got to tell you the Raider game last weekend. I heard
about this. So can you give me the details on this? Because I heard that there was a scenario where actually both teams could have made the playoffs, but that wasn't the case.
Here's what happened. When I set off the game before kickoff, the reaction was probably the most powerful of the season because this was like a big game.
Right.
And the game was that either the LA Chargers or the Raiders, whoever won the game, goes to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was a tie,
right,
they both go to the playoffs.
Right.
So now we're sitting here. It's fourth quarter. The Raiders are ahead by 10 points or so, or 10 points if I'm not mistaken. And the Chargers come back, and literally in the last 3 or 5 seconds, if I'm not incorrect in what I'm saying, they scored the touchdown to tie the game.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're going into overtime.
Right.
Now, if you bet the tie, I don't remember the odds, but I would venture to guess it was easily probably 500 or more to 1.
Okay.
Right. And I was told by a few people to bet the tie. I almost put $100 on it for shit and giggles.
Right.
But anyway, it ended in an overtime play with the Raiders winning by a field goal.
Okay.
And the Raiders now are going to the playoffs, which they play on Saturday in the wild card. But here's the cool thing. Oh, and Lil Jon was there. He performed at halftime. I opened up the show. He performed at halftime. It was just a really, really fun game. I was with some very cool people. Went with a friend of mine. Just had a really great time. And but the whole thing is, what's exciting for me is this is the first year the Raiders played at Allegiant Stadium.
Right? Second year, but there were no people yet last year.
Yeah. Well, excuse me, in front of a crowd.
Right. Yep.
And the first year that I represent them as far as opening for them and not doing anything for any other NFL team.
Right.
They went to the playoffs.
Yeah. And so that's job security if I've ever heard it.
Oh yeah. Well, they told me that, they want me every season, but I know from experience, my brother,
right,
that's always said, and that's great. But if they lose, the superstition kicks in.
Right. You get a stink on you that cannot be scrubbed off.
Exactly. So right now there's no stink. It's all good. Speaking of which, my It's Time cologne is being shipped. The samples are coming in.
That's the best segue in the show's history.
Best segue. I just had a meeting with my company in England. It's like everything's going so amazing, but I'm getting expect samples because I want you to show it on your show, or a sample. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I probably could use it, to be honest with you.
Okay, that sounds like a personal problem, but it's okay. Issue rather. Pardon me. Everybody can use it. So the thing about the Raiders it's a sweet smell of success,
right?
It's a sweet smell of success. It's so happy. And I'm looking forward to representing him again next year. I had that special jacket. I don't know if you saw the jacket.
Yeah. We talked about it last week. I mean, it's a glorious looking jacket. And that fan base, I know that Vegas is a new home for the Raiders as a whole, but the Raiders have a long, rich history, whether it be in Oakland or Los Angeles. And those fans, they move with the team. A lot of them do. They don't just give up on the Raiders when they're no longer playing where they're from. My timeline, I didn't realize how many Raider fans I was friends with online because it was just Raider Nation going crazy.
Well, when you go there and you see the what do you call them? The parking lot. What the pregame? What do they call that?
Tailgaters.
The tailgaters. It's extreme.
Yeah.
These Raider fans are serious.
Well, they travel too. A friend of mine who I know in Southern California, like he's a Raider fan, and he organized some tailgate party for when the Raiders played, I think either the Jets or the Giants in New York earlier this year. Like they have a traveling Raider tailgate party.
Yep. Well, it works. It's pretty phenomenal to see. That's all I can say. They really get off on it. Anyway, happy to do that. I obviously see where I'm going to be spending a lot of Sundays again next season, and I can't argue with it. How can I argue with it?
That's awesome. I need you to do it for at least like 3 years. So you get all the beautiful people out of the way for hooking them up with tickets. And then you'll hook me up with tickets on like year 3.
I've had a couple games that I had an extra ticket. TJ, you can fly in.
No, I know. I
want to go.
I'm going to be in Vegas a lot, so we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, definitely. We could do a game together. No problem. All right, TJ, I think for the first show of the year, it's great having Pearl on. Next
second show of the year, but that's not a big deal.
Second show of the year. Gosh. Ugh. Getting into the year.
You're still on that strong start, so maybe it's not the official start, but we're still starting the year strong. So that's all right. I'll let it slide.
Hey, I'm going to end this show, and I've got so many cool projects I'm working on. I'm so excited about this year. Last year was one of my biggest years ever, if not my biggest year ever, in many different aspects of business and personal life. And I want to just really jam it. And it's not that I made New Year's resolutions. I just have goals.
Right. You should always have goals. It doesn't matter, what time of year it is. It's always time to, like you say, progress and move and level up a bit.
Exactly. So go ahead and let us know what's up, TJ, and we'll be back next week. Next week, by the way, who's scheduled is Sammy Phillips, and we're going to have the Penthouse Pet of the Year on.
Dang.
Yeah.
How much fun is that going to be?
I had a lot of beauty on the show between Pearl going into next week. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
I guess. All right. So tonight, it's Wednesday. People won't hear this because the show airs on Thursday, but you can check out the archive of Invicta FC 45, which is available on YouTube and I believe MMAJunkie.com. So please tune into that. Saturday, check out myself and Pearl Gonzalez on Extra Rounds immediately following the UFC broadcast on ESPN Plus. We'll be live breaking down all the action coming out of the Apex. And follow me on Twitter at TJ DeSantis.
That's awesome. TJ, I wanted to tell you too that millions.co, my branding company, it is doing gangbusters. The audience grew 100% month after month in 2021.
Huge.
And it's huge. And the amount of athletes, professional sports teams, otherwise of all different sports
Yeah.
around the world.
So
coming.
many. I get ads for it on like my Facebook, Bruce.
Oh,
So
you
many
did?
people. Yeah, so many people I recognize that, you know, MMA fighters from all around the world are getting in on this thing. It seems like.
Fighters, soccer players, football players, baseball players, Major League, NHL, MLB, everybody's, not everybody, but a lot of people coming in. This is really taking off. I'm
Well,
so
people with
excited
fan
about it.
bases, you know, and that's really what it's all about, because as a fan, you want to support, you know, who you appreciate. And that's one thing that I think we don't necessarily always see when you buy, say, a player's jersey in a certain league. It doesn't always, you know, get a kickback to the athlete, at least not the way that you think it might, even though it bears their, you know, identity and likeness. The fact that you can really support these athletes on millions, it's not only getting something for your dollar, but it's also supporting, you know, something that you're interested in a cause, if you will, behind these athletes.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for the co-promotion. I appreciate it.
That's why I'm here. 15 years in this business.
All right, everybody. So check out millions.co. And of course, check out your puncher's chance. If you're watching UFC, break open the bottle. Come on. People are out there taking a puncher's chance. Support the cause. What is the cause?
I don't know. To get out of your clothes and be in your bed and not remember how you got there, apparently.
Yeah, well, I guess if that's your end result, then as long as you're safe and have,
You know.
so all good. All right, TJ. We'll be back next week. Like I said, everybody, thank you for joining in. I hope that your new year has started off strong and positive, and you're looking forward to a really great year. Please, please stay safe out there. I know it's hard, but do the best you can to protect yourself and the people around you. And most of all, set your goals, write them down, learn about them, be knowledgeable about them, have all the information. So when you step on that path to success, as you walk down that yellow brick road, you be the best you can be, and then you're winning. If you're number one, then you're really winning. The bottom line is be the best you can be a role model to your sphere of influence, treat everybody with respect, be honest, and go for it, period. All right, everybody. I've talked. I get paid to talk. I talk too much. I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to say buffer out. Have a great week. See you from the Octagon.